All right, so controversial, generic, cliche commentary topic number 1 down. And you know what? It went better than I expected. If you missed last week's comm, it's linked below. I discussed guns and gun restrictions. Well, kinda. I mostly discussed a common argument against gun control that I find dissatisfactory. And for the most part, the response was very positive. Not everyone agrees with me, which I can't say I find surprising. Those of you who do disagree with me chose to leave thoughtful comments taking on my line of reasoning. While I appreciate that type of intellectual conversation, or at least as intellectual as this website can get, I was disappointed that I didn't get any of the comments that I thought were coming. Skag 3, you libtard, hippie, Birkenstock, sporting, tofu, eating, Will and Grace, watching, Prius driving, latte sipping, college boy, pussy, bitch ass motherfucker. Don't you know this country was founded on the promise of fully automatic weaponry for every man, woman, and child? Unsub, dislike, flagged, get reported, get spammed, get doxed, get doxed, get swatted, get on. But no, not one of you did that. While I was looking forward to that potential fight, it makes me proud of the viewership base I've cultivated over time. Even for those of you who disagree with me, you're able to express that disagreement with reason. There's not a lot of idiots watching this channel, so I'll take that. Last week before I made my commentary on gun control arguments, I tweeted out asking you guys if you wanted to hear me talk about guns or God first, because I get asked about both of those things with frequency on Twitter. Guns got the majority vote then, and since I promised to address both topics, I figure I'll knock both out in succession and take on another topic primed to piss people off. But like my thoughts on guns, I'm not going to go boring here. I'm not going to say much about my specific religious persuasions, which admittedly is disingenuous of me to say, because as you'll hear, the only church to which I belong is, as Bill Maher puts it, the Church of I Don't Know. I'll begin my thoughts with a qualifier. I think religion is a deeply personal thing, so personal that I don't believe anybody has the right to tell you which God, including no God, is right for you any more than that person should be able to tell you the right way to decorate the inside of your home. To me, your God is like your sex life. What you do with it is none of my goddamn business, including doing nothing at all. Oh, get godded, you fucking nerd virgins. Get godded, copyright TX Coulter. That said, for me personally, I have several conceptual or philosophical problems with the concept of a God, at least as most traditional religions would have us believe he or she or it exists. How progressive of him. At the end of the day, it's a fundamentally untestable issue. We can't test questions of creation or the afterlife because we can't amass evidence in favor of it or against it. As Peter Griffin said,
it's like asking me to choose between Sarah Jessica Parker and Kirsten Dunst in a hot body weird face contest. It can't be done.
And that's a big problem for me. Nobody can truly be an expert in God or in the afterlife because there's no real set of facts to study or to master. To that extent, I know as much about creation and what happens to you after you die as you do, or as the Pope does, or Jesus does, or the Prophet Muhammad, or anybody else. To me, that means two things. One, within the confines of normal reason, anybody's opinion is as valid as anybody else's. That is to say, claims of a flying spaghetti monster god should be treated as equally valid alongside claims of a creationist garden where you can literally make hot chicks from your ribs, yet apples are the most intriguing things around. But two, that also means you should be skeptical if anybody tells you that he or she knows what happens when you die, or knows what or who God is. To those people, I inquire what type of equipment they have in their heads that I don't, but they never really give me a satisfactory answer. I'm fine with speculation and even faith on fundamentally unknowable and untestable questions. I'm not fine with saying you know with absolute certainty that you're right and everyone else is wrong. These things are untestable. Since we can't test them, we can't reach certainty. Don't claim anything but personal persuasion and faith. That point aside, I'm not conceptually opposed to the idea that the world is the creation of somebody or something. It's not anti-science to say so either. I sometimes wonder if the universe as we know it is just something developing in a petri dish of some middle school science experiment somewhere, and God is just some metaphysical junior high kid trying to rush out of class and get home and sweat all night trying to hit quad feeds on Nuketown. Mind fuck. Silly, but that's a concept I can get with. What I can't get with is what we're traditionally told. I can't get over what we call the philosophical problem of evil. The problem here is basic, but for some reason I don't hear it discussed that frequently, and in my mind, I've never heard a person of traditional religious persuasion defeat this problem in a satisfactory way for me. The problem is as follows. God is three things. He's omniscient. He knows everything. He's omnipotent. He can do anything. He's omnibenevolent. He's all good without fault. Yet evil exists. I don't mean to trivialize that point with that sounder, but we are dealing with incompatible, mutually exclusive premises here. As residents of Earth, we have to agree unanimously that evil exists. Bad things happen every minute of every day in every place of this planet. No denying that. So how can this evil exist with a God who knows everything, who can do anything, and who is all good? Quite simply, it can't. If evil exists, then either God doesn't know about it, which means he's not omniscient, or he knows and he can't do anything about it, which means he's not omnipotent, or he knows and he could do something, but he chooses not to, which means he's not omnibenevolent. All of these things cannot be true simultaneously. While I'm thoroughly persuaded that given the existence of earthly evil, there simply cannot be an omniscient, omnipotent, and omnibenevolent God, there's still a logical leap to get from there to the conclusion that there is certainly no God at all. So I don't. I stop there and I stick with the church of I don't know. Now, before you type up that I'm a libtard atheist, I'll leave you with this. When claims are made without evidence, I'm generally skeptical, which is why I'm generally skeptical of the idea of a traditional God. But I do find one piece of theist wisdom to be telling and difficult to defeat. The absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. And so I stop short of saying I know, because I don't, because I can't. Whatever your persuasion, I think if it works for you and it makes your life better, it should be a part of your life. But please have the humility to understand your persuasion is exactly that. It's fundamentally an untestable opinion, and therefore you should not tell others that they are right or that they are wrong. Because in earthly life on this question, they can't really be either. Live, let live, be happy. The only guarantee is today, so live for that. Thanks as always for hearing me out and for supporting this series. I'll catch you next time for some more pretentious pseudo-intellectual conversation. Okay, thanks. Bye.